It's America's team and clearly Madden's team as well. I mean, a lot of players, they love playing with the Dallas Cowboys, and as they should. I mean, they've got a talented group. You talk about that offensive line. You talk about Ezekiel Elliott, and, of course, the quarterback, Prescott. I mean, Prescott, he's a guy that he can get out there and get out the pocket and make some moves, and such a threat offensively.
Well, they're doing the right thing here. You have to restart that game in this situation.
I'm not calling that game.
You wouldn't have been able, when it's dark uniforms versus dark uniforms, it's too hard to identify who's on what team, and they quickly recognize that, and they're going to get it corrected here. It's the right move. It's what you need to do, especially when you're playing a game of this magnitude.
Well, we'll kick it off again. They'll reset all their audibles in the playbooks. Get ready to go here. It's going to be 5-minute quarters, 40-second play clock. Akbar, RG, Scott Cole with you here for the loser semifinal. And these guys, of course, they got to get a win here, but even if they do, they still got a long road to make it to the overall final here in the class.
Well, they got to keep winning. But I tell you something, going back and as they're setting up their audibles and setting up their plays, I'm so impressed with the athletes here today, and they really are. The ocular discipline, the ability to be able to go in and out and be able to select their plays. These guys have put in the work. They don't just pop up and show up. Even though it's an open format, they didn't just pop up here and just show up. They've been ready. They've been prepping for their whole lives for this moment. This is it.
Well, the Eagles, we've been the throwback unis. White uniforms here for Henry, and he'll start with it first. He'll get it out to the 19-yard line, and he will start with it first. And in this running meta we've had this weekend, putting points on the board first.
Well, I think
about a running game. Yeah, that's key.
Yeah, very important to establish the run game, but also, too, clock management. You talk about 5-minute quarters. You got to be the master of the time.
And I'll tell you what, guys. Well, Henry might have been watching the last game between his friends, Young Kiv and Serious Mo and his other crew members. I went out in the back, and Millz was out there on an extra station with Young Tony, Mustafa Jones, Franchise GG, and they were practicing.
They were making adjustments.
They were getting adjustments, getting ready for this specific offense that Henry's running. Let's see if it can do anything.
Oh, did you get ready for that? Ezekiel Elliott off to the races. And they will finally force him down at the 23-yard line, not before he rips off 57 yards.
Well, we talk about establishing that run game early, and this is it. You got Ezekiel Elliott, you might as well use him.
The good news, though, if you're Millz, is you had him in the backfield. Zeke, just being the good player he is, just made a play. But if you see, the defense that Millz is having out here is forcing Zeke to make the play. There was not just a clear running lane right there.
Millz making the adjustment, stacking that line as well.
That's going to bring up a 2nd and 11. Here in an elimination game between Millz and Henry. Henry with a promising opening drive to start the ball game. Just outside the red zone.
Better be careful with them verticals.
Ooh!
Low throw, and it's completed.
Well, it seems like Millz is daring Henry to throw the ball.
Yeah, you see all those goons in the box. That's a lot of beef up front, and there they go.
Millz ain't playing.
Brown comes off the edge. His 2nd tackle of the game and forces a 2nd and 17.
This is how Millz plays defense. It's an aggressive style of defense. He sends the goons, but it don't matter.
Pollard, the backup, the rookie, to the cribbo.
Well, Matt, I can tell you guys right now, the 16-year-old, he's got ice in his veins. To be able to run the ball with Pollard with the line stacked like that, my goodness.
So Henry on the board first with an opening 80-yard drive. And now Millz, the defensive specialist, is going to have to count on his offense to answer.
That's huge right there if you're Henry. When you're going up against a guy that you know takes a lot of pride in his defense, he's really looking to get stops, and you can open up the game with a touchdown drive like that and establish the run. It's got to do wonders for your confidence. Let's see if he can keep this momentum going on the defensive side of the ball now.
It's throwback Eagles uniforms. And he's played well.
I'm not gonna lie, those Eagles uniforms, they're sweet. They're pretty sweet. They say you look good, you play good.
Reggie White days. It's one of my favorite players to use in Madden Ultimate Team. 2nd and 8 as J-Ho will take it for 2.
And something to keep in mind as well is Millz is running the same offense that Joke ran against Henry in the last game. So Henry has this look fresh in his mind. It's a very similar offense, pretty much the same exact offense that he just beat in his last game. So you know he's got to be feeling good about that.
Well, we talk about the congregation that Millz had prior to this game. It'd be interesting to see what type of adjustment he makes in his offense. You know, in football, we talk about the eye in the sky doesn't lie. That's watching film, being able to see what your opponent does. Let's see if he makes the adjustment he needs to get a touchdown here.
That's a really good point, Akbar, and he did have Joke in his ear telling him some of the things that may have been there are some of the mistakes he made. So it does work both ways.
Good thing about Madden was we live in a all 22 all the time kind of life. They'll hand it off once again. This time it's Smallwood.
Who? Woods came down screaming down the hole.
I'm telling you, Lights alluded to it earlier. These guys have special kinds of stick work out there. Not anybody's able to just shoot that gap and make the hit stick, but when you're dealing with the young Phenom Henry, he's able to make play after play in that situation. But here's Millz.
Wide open is Gibson. And that'll push it into positive territory to the 37-yard line.
Look at Millz, he's just kind of shaking his head a little bit. This is a guy that is not going to get rattled. He thrives in the offline head-to-head environment, and he's shown it thus far in this tournament. Looking good so far on the opening drive.
Stretch it out.
No stretch zone.
There's Smallwood again, who played his college ball at West Virginia, and a former Mountaineer will pick up 2. Methodical.
Well, I got to say, I went to San Diego State, and I just saw Millz pass over to Pumphrey. Pumphrey can play.
Put up a lot of yards as an Aztec.
I had to give a little San Diego State love.
Where? Who?
Good defense.
Oh, nice.
And Wentz will get dropped. Vander Esch delivers the blow, and that brings up a 3rd and 16.
Tough place for Millz'
this
offense.
Is crucial, 3rd and 16. You know he's probably going to try to, call timeout?
Now we're going to head to the
second quarter, okay.
It's 5-minute quarters, man. You blink.
That's right, yeah.
Take
it goes
a blink,
by fast.
Akbar,
and that's the adjustment I've got to make. I've got to make the adjustment from the NFL to the 5-minute quarter here in the championship series.
You know, this game was supposed to start at 4 p.m. local time. So much running today. Way ahead of schedule. I don't want to jinx it. I would say knock on wood, but I think this thing's like a...
this is like Formica or something. Compressed wood.
This is a long field goal.
58 yards.
Here we go.
Probably the longest we've seen on stream. Bang!
And real quick, something I want to call out now that Akbar mentioned it is, a lot of people watch competitive Madden and they're like, why are they always going for it on 4th down? That's unrealistic. But it is because we're playing a 5-minute quarter game. There's so little possessions that you need to maximize each and every one of them, and it forces you to play an aggressive style of Madden. Yep. I bet you could speak to it, Akbar. If NFL games were 5-minute quarters, those coordinators would be going for it on 4th down a lot more.
Absolutely. It comes down to time management, and the time really does indicate how you call your plays. I mean, you look at the adjustment during the preseason in that Raiders preseason game where they had to have a field that was shortened down to 80 yards.
Yeah, yes.
That changed the way they made their play call. They still had the same plays that they've been working on, but it changed the sequence in which they called it.
That's a good real-life example, and that's exactly why in Madden you see these guys play a more aggressive style of football. It actually is the right thing to do.
But it's also exciting to watch, especially when you're looking at this, virtually Madden. I love the aggressiveness of it. I mean, look, we get so used to and get spoiled by watching the game, in reality, but this is a different beast, and it puts more pressure. It's a little bit more added to it when you're watching, the drama.
Couldn't agree more.
3:12 to go here in the half. You hear the voices of Akbar, RG, Scott Cole with you here on a championship Sunday.
I'll tell you, Millz is super aggressive defensively.
This is how he plays. He's going to stay true to himself on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, he does expose himself to go up top. You see the bunch formation to the right.
Quick throw to the outside. And the big fella will pick up some good yardage there. More importantly, move the chains. 1st and 10.
You saw Henry, he just put the controller down. That means he's just going to let this wind down to the 2-minute warning. And he may be 16 years old, but he's very smart, and he's showing you that he can manage that clock.
Yeah, he knows clock management.
Sometimes you'll wait and see if the other guy will put his controller down too, which Millz did. You ever get savage? You ever get savage with a quick snap?
You know what's crazy is I'm not even playing in this game, and I can feel it. I know so much is on the line. I'm very impressed the fact that Henry can handle this type of pressure.
And there's Zeke. Doesn't get anything. Balanced offense so far. Here by Henry. 6 rushes, 4 passes. And we're going to have a flag. That should be a free play.
Oh, my goodness.
And they'll play it again.
I'll put that guy in the concussion protocol.
2nd and 5 after the offsides on the defense. So we'll play it again, just a little closer this time to the first down. Austin with the motion.
Wow.
Can't get rid of it.
And to Akbar's point, that's not just the time, the 5-minute quarters. Another big difference in Madden football compared to real NFL football, there are no injuries. So you don't got to worry about your quarterback getting taken out of the game, losing an Ezekiel Elliott.
And that makes you want to take more chances. You know you can take more chances like that.
Exactly.
3rd and 13. Pushed out of field goal range after that sack. So he goes for a quick pass here. And I think he's still out of field goal range. Yeah, 60-yarder from there. And he's going to line up for it.
This is a big kick.
This would be a Pizza Hut Stadium record. Full power, ultimate accuracy. What? And he knocks the field goal through for the record. 60.
That is not an easy kick. The more power you put on your kick, the faster that accuracy bar comes swinging down. Not only did Henry get the full power, he also got perfect accuracy. He's just displaying phenomenal stick work all over the place, even in the kicking game.
And let me say, for all those who think special teams doesn't mean anything, in reality, well, you're seeing, you're witnessing, special teams means a lot.
All 3 phases.
Touchdown game. Here with 1 minute to go here in the first half. And there's Lane Johnson coming across the formation. Don't let him get on one of your linebackers. As Van Der Esch able to come in to make the stop.
Van Der Esch been making a lot of plays.
Clock on the move, 40 seconds to go now in the half. 2nd and 12. Wentz up under center.
Nice pickup.
And he'll go up top. Lane Johnson.
Try to hit him with a move on that one.
Yeah, he did.
That's
I thought that was going to be an interception, to be quite honest with you.
That's like some Patriot scum. You think you disguise the old lineman out there, you sneak them out in tight end. They had the Ravens throwing fits about that kind of stuff a few years ago. Oh, it's almost yanked.
Byron Jones had his mitts on it. Couldn't haul it in. And here comes a punt.
Credit to Henry playing great defense.
And he'll just punt it away. 20 seconds remaining in the half. That's well out of bounds. And now Henry, you just don't want to make a mistake.
You got to be careful here if you're both players. We've seen a lot of guys sneak up and get some points in this situation before half. So you can't go to sleep right here if you're Millz. Have to be careful. Henry is still dangerous in this situation.
He'll bunch it up. He'll motion Tavon. Dak.
Ooh.
That's time for a moment,
Cooper.
but not that much time.
Oh, my goodness. Coop was wide open downfield.
Couldn't get it away, and he'll use a timeout. 2nd and 23.
He's got to play maybe 2.
Look at Millz. He can't help himself. He's still sending. It is 8 seconds left in the house. He doesn't even think about quarters. He's still just sending all the goons.
And that's how the first half will come to a close. Henry, the youngster, with a 10-3 lead over Millz, the hometown hero. And Henry will kick it away to start the second half.
I'm not going to lie, I was expecting a halftime show.
Hey, if you want to do one, I'll be glad to step away. Have a couple of slices of Pizza Hut pizza. Of course, joined by Akbar, who's going to be hosting the show on, that's Friday the 13th on CW.
I can't wait for that. That's going to be exciting. While you get the pizza, I'm going to go ahead and get the Nitro Cold Brew from Starbucks.
Of course, showing you the road that we've had this weekend through the Classic. At what point during the show do the guys climb walls and do the strength stuff? You guys have a setup in the back, right?
Yeah, I know. Right? We have a little setup in the back. They're usually doing that in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you see, we got RG over here. Akbar, Scott Cole with you. It's been just an incredible venue, incredible weekend. And we got a big 3rd and 4 coming up here for Millz. Wentz up under center again.
The Dallas Cowboys have a weak edge here defensively.
He's going to flip the play. And he will stretch it outside, and that's a fumble.
Wow, great recovery.
Dillard had to scoop it up to keep it alive. 4th and 2.
This is a huge play. Akbar called it up the edge looking like it was open, and it was. The problem is Henry just so efficient with his user-controlled player, able to get over there himself, set the edge, and force the fumble. Big 4th down, boys.
And you can see they bring the ends here into the 3-gap. You got double 3-gap guys, leaving the edge a little weak. But look, I mean, you have control of your man. You can be able to squeeze down and cut off that edge. All of a sudden, you've got a solid front.
Able to pick up the pressure, but not able to pick up that guy. DeMarcus Lawrence. Huge turnover on downs. Look at this fumble again, though. Actually, this is the
it's just
the
a break
pressure.
through
This
the
is the
line.
play we just saw.
That's DeMarcus Lawrence, and I'll tell you what, boys, that is a humongous play because now Henry already in field goal range with a 7-point lead. You assume as long as he plays it safe here, he can just continue to milk this clock, manage the game, settle for 3, and still be up 2 possessions.
Well, Boise State had a good weekend where DeMarcus Lawrence used to call home, dropping Florida State.
I saw your reaction, Akbar, to the clock moving so fast.
Yes.
It's Henry. He's using a true clock feature, which allows you to just accelerate the play clock down to 10 seconds. So they don't, it's a feature in Madden. So when you know you want to milk the clock, you don't got to sit there for all 30 seconds and let it wind down.
Well, you read my body language.
I saw your reaction.
My body language. What are you in my head?
And the good thing is, if you're wondering it, there's probably viewers at home that are wondering it as well. So that's why the clock moved like that. It was the true clock feature.
Now he's going to hold A. He's already kicked it through the uprights here. It can't be blocked because he's got an accurate kick. It's up and it's good, and that's a 2-score game. 1:18 to go here in the 3rd.
This game's starting to pull away. Henry back in his calm state.
And you talked about this, Scott, earlier in the tournament. This is a tough place for Millz. He has that very run-first type of offense. It's a very ball-control type of offense. So now when you find yourself down 2 scores, you kind of get out of your comfort zone. So this is going to be a tough place for Millz to respond in.
And, you know, when you're out of your comfort zone, the way to get back into that zone is trusting the preparation and the process. Look, you've made it this far. There's a process that you utilize. You've got to be able to bring that because it's very easy to get out of your game and start being very reactive. You got to be proactive and play your game.
That is very good advice, and that's what the best players do in real life, the best coaches do in real life, and that's also what the best Madden players do here in the MCS.
Big time hit. Gonna bring up a 3rd and 3. Feels like this is a must-score drive.
At least points.
Gotta get at least 3. And then he's gonna need a stop. Final seconds here, the 3rd. Gibson, a little bit of motion. Carson Wentz steps and throws, and there's time.
Woo! And look at Mama Henry. I've got my eyes on Mama Henry, and she's a little nervous right now. Mama Henry pacing a little bit back and forth.
Of course, Will Tye, the vertical threat tight end from a small college in Colorado called Stony Brook. 1st and 10. He'll hand it off to Scott. And he'll get a few.
How about that? 8 rushes for only 12 yards.
Yeah.
Henry's definitely found some run defense for this formation.
And I think it's time that we give, Henry that love as far as defense. We've talked about him offensively, but, he has really been the complete package.
3rd and 5. He's using a ton of time. Trailing by 2 scores to Henry. This is the loser's bracket.
Nice little spy technique. You saw him take Woods and spy on that. That made Carson Wentz hold the ball a little longer than he wanted to. He was trying to find that guy dragging across.
And with this kind of offense, you can't take a sack in that 3rd down. If you get yourself in a 4th and manageable, your offense is built for it.
That's right.
But it's not built for these 4th and 16s. Mills got his back against the wall here.
Needs to get across midfield to the 46-yard line. Wentz. Okay, here's the scream. He's just got to get rid of it. And Ty comes up clutch.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I thought Wentz was going to take the wide receiver, drag it underneath, and finds that tight end. That's good. That's a great play call.
On 4th down, that might have just kept Mills' tournament.
Oh, my goodness. Scott to the outside, and then he fumbles.
The ball's
Still loose. And Henry jumps on it.
Oh, Sha-na-na.
And Mills is like, I'm dead.
Stop it.
Oh,
Mills
my
is
goodness,
sick.
look at this.
Mills is sick. This is all going to come down to time management. This is Henry's game.
I mean, when you're running around with only a 68 overall halfback, a practice squad player, you have to avoid those hits or at least be covering RB. Henry makes him pay right there. That's a huge play. That might be a $5,000 hit stick for young Henry.
And Snickers fumble on the
Henry
replay there.
might end up being the youngest ever to do it, huh?
He would, if he was to win this championship belt, he would be the youngest player in MCS history to win a major.
And Elliott's going to get to the edge.
Oh.
And this is
He's 88 out the gate. 88 out the gate. I thought he was going to hit I thought it was to the house.
Doesn't have that top end speed, but he gets all the way down to the 40-yard line. And it looks like Henry is going to be moving on, and Mills, although it's a short drive.
I'm not going to lie. I love that lead. That lead right there, old school fullback. You don't see a lot of fullbacks. You know, I think back to my time playing against guys like Lorenzo Neal and playing with Lorenzo Neal. I mean, you know, I can't wait to see, you know, a lot of times you see these offense, they come back every, 6-7 years, you'll see that. I can't wait to see the fullback come back in.
Hey, Andy Reid still uses a fullback.
Yeah, he does.
Patriots.
Couple
Patriots.
guys. Yeah,
They'll start him out wide and then bring him in last second.
49ers. And Zeke will pick up the first down. But yeah, it's few and far between at the fullback position.
And you know what, boys? We are going to have an all 818 boys top 3. 3 guys from the same crew, and Serious Mo, Young Kiv, and Young Henry are now on top of the tournament, and the only one still alive.
13-3. That is your final. Right now is a 10-point victory there for Henry.
Wow.
Of course, those 818 boys representing True Boy, Spot Me Please, and we welcome back in James Coe. We're getting